Oh my God. Alrighty. So this episode is so needed, like so needed. I'm so excited we're finally getting to do this. But
Me too.
most people, let's start off just with this, all right? Most people
Sure.
feel lost because they lack purpose, right?
Mhm.
Most people feel lost because they were taught to search for it outside of themselves, right?
Mhm.
And so we've been sold this idea, and I'm sure you can agree with me on this, that soul purpose is supposed to be something that you figure out or that you chase or that you have to get to, or like it's like something you have to arrive at or a destination. And the reality of the situation is that your soul purpose, it's it's something that is revealed to you, like it reveals itself as we learn, as we learn to trust ourselves, as we learn to trust our bodies and our truth and our own lived experiences, right? And
Mhm.
so that's the juice of this episode today. So welcome back to Honey and Flame, the Rebel Priestess podcast. As always, I'm your host, Damari Paz. And as you know, this space is for those that are completely done outsourcing their inner authority and are completely ready to build, a real long-lasting relationship with their own wisdom. You know what I mean? Because we all have that innate wisdom within ourselves. And so this space is for truth, embodiment, and remembering who the fuck we are, okay? Underneath all the survival conditioning and all the expectations, right? So today we're going to be talking about soul purpose, and which is something that many of us misunderstand. Especially misunderstand. I feel like a lot of people misunderstand what it is. And so today I'm here joined by Amanda, whose work centers around literally soul purpose and alignment, right? And
Mhm.
as well as helping people, right? Helping people reconnect to their own voice, to their own soul purpose and to their own wisdom. And so I'm so, so, so happy to have this conversation with you, Amanda. Like, truly, I've been
Yes.
looking forward to this. And, divine timing, it has its thing.
Right.
Supposed to record a couple days ago. And I was like, oh no. Well, here we are. And honestly, it was for a reason because my energy level is like completely higher than it was the other day. So here we are. So if you've ever felt behind, my loves, or confused, or you've ever felt pressure to find your soul purpose or figure it all out, this conversation is exactly for you. So before we dive in, I invite both of us, Amanda and I, and everybody listening, to just take a deep breath in, to just ground ourselves, get ready for this because it's gonna be great. All right. All right. Now that being said, thank you so much, Amanda, for being here.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
tell us, like, was there a moment in your life where you realized soul purpose was never something that you had to figure out, that it was something that you had to remember?
Yeah, much later in life. I spent a lot of my life, um, just kind of being what I needed to be for everybody else, right? Always kind of looking outside of myself, very much people pleasing, all of that kind of energy, very much believing your purpose was a role that you learned or that you had to choose. Um, and when like especially when you're someone who doesn't really know who they are because they were never really fully allowed to be themselves, right? um, I found so much that, like, when I was thinking in terms of purpose, it was always like, oh well, that's outside of me, someone will either tell me what that is, or I need to go learn it, or I need to, you know have somebody. It was always kind of on someone else. And it was way later in life when I was like, oh, I am so lost, I have no idea who I am. um I'm just so frustrated and in, like, like the trenches of healing. um that was that moment where I was like, well, what if I just do things the way that I want to for the first time in my life? Like, what if I was just me? And it was that kind of decision that snowballed into really starting to remember who I was. And not only that, but to understand that that purpose isn't a role, it's who you are. And you're just remembering that. And that's why we feel so disconnected from our, yeah, it's why we feel so disconnected from that purpose. We feel so out of alignment because it's not outside of ourselves, right? It's who we are, and it's not as complicated as we are led to believe. So finding that was a huge turning point for me in my life.
Wow, I mean, that is so like that is very significant. Like it just it always comes back to like who we innately are. Like, and I feel like I can speak for myself too. Like, you know, for a long time I always thought like it was the role, it was the like who you choose to be, like
Mm-hmm.
whether you're a police officer, that's who you are, whether you're a doctor, that's who you are. And over time you start to realize like, wait, these are just hats that you choose to pick on and off, and like you can choose
Yeah.
to put them on and off, and you can have multiple hats if you want to, like you can choose to change them every day, like whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
And once I started to realize like, wait a minute, my purpose is just me being here. Like it goes so much deeper than like what it is that you physically are doing. Like it's
Yeah.
small as, oh, I opened the door for someone this morning at ShopRite, and because I did that, that helped that person in some way that I will never know,
Yeah.
but it happened, right?
Right.
And there was meaning to that. There was a
Mm-hmm.
deeper meaning to why I
Mm-hmm.
chose in that moment to be kind to another person. You
Yes,
get what I'm saying?
I
There's
do.
something always tied to everything else, and we as humans, we don't always slow down to see that. You know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
don't always slow down to be like, oh, okay. You know,
Yeah.
and so it took me some time too, like you were saying, like it takes you a little,
Yeah.
but I mean, I feel like that's the whole point of lived experience and how you develop your, the wisdom through that. Which brings me to that question for you. Like
Mm-hmm.
when did you realize that your wisdom didn't come from outside of you, but it came from you itself, just you, your consciousness?
Yeah, I think, and I feel like a lot of people may relate to this. When you're somebody's a little bit different, you experience the world differently. I was a very like follow my energy all over the place kid, very creative, very like no one really got it. Um,
Totally get
when
that.
we're like that, we
Still like,
have right same like still I'm getting weirder by the day and I love it. But, um, but what that can do to you, especially when you're kind of told, oh, that's not good, oh, you need to be this, you need to change, we stop trusting ourselves, we stop believing that who we are is good, we stop believing that that wisdom is actually something that's needed in this world, right? And
okay.
especially when those things too are very, you're very sensitive or you're very empathic, those can be seen as too much, right? And so it took again a really long time for me because in as fast forward from being this kid who was kind of trying to dim down that light, that creativity, that joy, um when I got older, I didn't trust myself for my own wisdom. And I really didn't know who that was anymore because I had spent so long trying to gauge, who I needed to be. And so, really, when I had like my first spiritual awakening, um, probably in my 30s, let's say, it was like, oh my gosh, I have
Oh,
no clue who I am. Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
No,
I want
please.
to like slide through and just quickly, what you just said is so important. I want to really
Yeah,
to to the people listening.
please.
You just said your first spiritual awakening was when you were 30, right?
Yeah.
I want to say that is so important to point out because there's so many people, especially when I do readings for people and they're older, where they beat themselves up because of their age and when
Right.
they realize certain things, and they compare themselves to like younger people that are
Mm-hmm.
awakening or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out to the people listening, it does not matter what your age is. Literally, it does not matter. Okay, the point is you're coming back home to yourself. You're
Mhm.
remembering who you are.
Yeah.
That is all that matters. When
Mhm.
you do it, that is a business between you, yourself, your higher self, and God. Point period. Okay. Anyway, with that being
Yeah.
said, continue. I just thought that was so it's beautiful because and we talked about this before when we had a pre-connection call. Like I am so like in awe of you because you are a prime example of somebody that like despite your age and when it happened,
Mhm.
like now you have kids, like you still continue to show up for yourself and you continue to fight and be a voice for women and other people that are trying to like find their voice just the way you
Yeah.
did. And so love that, love you. And I had to go ahead, continue.
Oh
Let me-
yeah, no, big fan of It's Never Too Late. And something too to that I talk about with my clients a lot too is this idea of there's no kind of gauge on like how far ahead you are or anything like that, because when we think about our purpose and our gifts are innately ours. And even if you don't realize it, you've been using that, right? You've been living in your purpose, believe it or not. Even out of alignment, there's still these moments where you're like, okay, you're still having a positive effect on people.
Mhm.
And your gifts are still just as powerful as someone who's maybe lived their whole life with this awareness. You're just more aware now of the magic that you possess, right? So it's like it's powerful, it's cool, but it's not less or more than anybody else. It just is, right? And all you're doing is just catching up. You're just remembering. You're just experiencing it. So that was a big thing because I think again, I know for me, when I was going through this, when I was like realizing the wisdom that I possess, you want an external like source to tell you that like, yo, you're doing great. You're here on the journey. Whereas I'm always like, I hate to tell you this, but like the journey is ongoing forever and you already have everything. Like I was like, we are sitting across from each other full equals. We both have these beautiful, incredible gifts. It doesn't matter, right? So I know I'm kind of going away from the question about
No,
the wisdom, but like
go ahead
it
if you
just
got
lights me up so much to talk about this because I really feel like we are at a time where we are told, especially those open-hearted things, those sensitive people, again, I'm kind of circling back to this, that like that's not good, but
yeah.
that's the very thing that's here to help change the world right now, right?
Oh,
And that's why you're waking up, that's why you're remembering, that's why you're realizing the gifts that you have always possessed. So
exactly.
I'm going to
Yes.
go off on like a tangent, but yeah. So when we talk about like that wisdom awakening, um, and realizing that it was all within, um, what ended up actually happening was I was like, okay, I know I'm spiritual. I know I want to like explore this, and because it's me, I jump in with both feet because that's who I am. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I kind of looked outside of myself and was like, okay, this is what an oracle reader is. Perfect. Great. I'm going to be that person. I'm going to change who I am. I'm going to be serious. I'm going to do it. And then when I was in readings with others, I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that they get what they want. Right. And it was all about them and not about me and how I do things, what
Mm,
feels right for me.
yeah.
And I burned out completely. Full
Ooh,
mental breakdown, full like I can't do this anymore. What's going on? Full burnout, everything. Like everything just crashed down upon me. Um, and I quit everything. I stopped working. I like it was a rough time. Really, really rough time. But in the rubble of that, I there was a part of me that was like, what if I just did this my way? Like, what if I just did this in a way that felt right for me? And that was the turning point for me of looking within instead. Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, I like had that feeling. I was like, she's gonna say breakthrough.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, it's just so I don't know how to like others say it any other way, but that's just it seems to be the pattern that I see.
Yeah.
And it's like your body will burn out and hit a wall when we try to, again, and I've talked about this in other episodes, when we try to run after something without nourishment and we don't give ourselves the rest, a break, when we don't take care of ourselves and our own needs and we're too focused on the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, da 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 da, da, and we're too focused on the external, not so much on the internal.
Yeah.
We start to lose ourselves, we start to disconnect from ourselves, and we start to lose battery, like literal battery. We got to remember that our bodies run on ATP, like literal energy.
Yeah.
And so it's also like why we feel groggy and drained. And so what you're saying, it makes perfect sense. And like I've experienced it myself in the past. Like I'm sure many people listening right now have experienced it and they're wondering what the heck, what's going on. Well, there you go. It's
Yeah.
time to come back to yourself. It's time to
Yeah.
remember. It's time to look within and just give yourself a pause because you're allowed to give
Yeah.
yourself a pause. I literally just posted a video about that this morning. I was like, you're allowed to rest. Like you're allowed
Mhm.
to rest on your journey. You're allowed to make breaks on your way to success. Like there's no there's no what's the saying that they say? Well, I usually say, but it's like there's nobody chasing you.
Yeah.
Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a
Hmm.
lot of us do things as if somebody's chasing us with like a knife or something. And it's like remember that you can take a deep breath. Like you can
Yeah.
stop and smell the roses, maybe climb a tree, touch
Right.
the water, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, yeah, like soul purpose isn't something that we decide on and it's just like one and done. Like, okay,
Hmm.
I chose my purpose. Like, and it's also something necessarily that you choose. It's something that
Right.
kind of just is, and it's something that we're in a relationship with that's
Right.
always evolving. Like, literally, like a relationship, it's always gonna be evolving, it's always gonna be growing. And so,
Absolutely.
like just like you had different like a different career path at one point and then you
Mhm.
chose this, it's like we're always evolving. Like I didn't always think I was going to be in a podcast host, like what, like that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
maybe I maybe thought about it and like that's what planted the little seed for me, but it was never like I'm going to be this, and so it's
Right.
like things evolve. And so a lot of people misunderstand, what soul purpose is. And a lot of people beat themselves up and they shame themselves because they see other people living their purpose or like
Right.
they're, oh my God, that person is so in their purpose. You know what I mean? Like, especially with like
Hmm.
the spiritual community, like the trends and like the aesthetic stuff they put out and like,
Yeah.
all these the beauty and the glamour. It's like you people see that and they compare themselves immediately because they're like, oh, they look around. I can definitely be. I'm one of those people because I don't
Mhm.
come from money at all, and so like it's so easy to be like, oh, like they're in their purpose. Like I'm not in my purpose because
Right.
like you look around and you probably feel like, what's your purpose, right? And so
Yeah.
I feel like you, if not anybody else, you're the perfect person to explain to my audience like what is something that most people misunderstand about finding their purpose? And what could you say about that?
Yeah. I think a big one is there's always a big worry about not living in your purpose. Like, what if I live my whole life and I don't find out my purpose? And I'm always like, well, you don't need to worry about that because you've been living in your purpose from the moment you were born. That's okay. I'm like, we're good, right? And I always think of purpose as like this umbrella, right? Of like the umbrella is who you are, right? It's why you're here. It's this magic that you bring. It's why people feel better for having talked to you, right? It's when you are in your truest self, being you, not worrying what anybody thinks, right? And then what's really cool is once you understand this, like once you're like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I do just by being me. Then you can pull down into whatever you want. Then I go, well, what do you enjoy? Like, you don't need to make this a job if you don't want to. This can be, I like to do art on the side and I channel, right? This can be a job that you do. But whatever it is, now you can do these things intentionally and they feel good because they're you. instead of this idea of trying to fit into a box. You're creating this for you, so it's like you're just stepping into something that was made for you, instead of trying to fit into something. And so that's kind of how I explain it to people, is like, this is already here. This umbrella is already here. This is you. You just need to become aware of it. And then you can intentionally choose what it is that you do with it. And by the way, you don't have to do a lot with it if you don't want to either. Like, you're still doing amazing things just by being yourself already. You're inspiring people to do the same. You're making people's lives better. And it's true. So don't doubt that. And again, it I know, again, going off on a tangent, but it circles around to this feeling of, again, who we are isn't good or doesn't have value, and that is crap. And so when we work, that is literally the main thing that I work with people on, is you're already amazing. Now we need you to believe it and see it and understand it, because you're freaking incredible and you're doing so many things. So much of this is just a perspective change, is being like, look at this amazing umbrella. Like, you're incredible.
Like,
And
hello.
that alone can instantly change people's lives and help them be more confident and help them live in alignment in their truth. And it really does change things. So that was a really long answer to your question, but
Well, long the best.
you're already living your purpose, is my point.
I love complexity. My brain doesn't
So,
deal with easy.
no, go on side quests. It's amazing.
No, but honestly, and this, I want to bring up what you said, because I asked Amanda in the very beginning when we met, because, like, FYI, guys, I put out a Threads alert. Mind you, I'm new to Threads, like really new. So if you want to follow me, please do. But and also, I'm gonna put all of Amanda's information in the description too. Um, but I put a whole shout out of, like, I wanted to get some guests on the pod, and Amanda being one of the people that responded back to me. And we immediately hit it off. We immediately connected. As you can tell, obviously why, very aligned. And I remember reading her prompt, because I had her, everybody filled out applications to get in. And I remember reading her prompt, and she said, being yourself starts with believing in yourself. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Or was it
Yeah.
the way around?
Yep.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Being yourself starts with believing in yourself. And if that couldn't be farther from the truth, guys, I would love for you to tell them, like, what that means to you, because you said it. So I don't want to take away from them the meaning
Yeah.
from that. I know what it means to me, but I want to know what
Yeah.
you meant when you wrote that.
So over the time that I've been on this journey, and please know there's so many ups and downs. Like, I will not be the person to tell you that I have it all figured out. It's amazing. Like, no, I'm on the friggin' roller coaster too, of like, things are amazing. Oh, things aren't. Oh, things are amazing. Like, it's fine.
We're just over here shaking our heads.
Right? Like, it's fine. We just get used to it. And anyway. But what I have found is everything works better for me, for my business, for life, when I am really confident in who I am. When I'm showing up being like, yes, this is me. Everything works better. And I was kind of like, oh, I get it. Like, this is the most important part, is the believing in yourself, right? We don't need all of the information or all of the learning or the courses. Don't get me wrong, they're great.
Yeah.
But the very first thing, the foundation upon which you grow, has to be that you believe in yourself, that you go, oh, I am good. I do have value. And I repeat these a lot today, because those are like the most important things that I want you to listen and let that sink into you as you listen, that you are good. Who you are has value just as you are. Okay. And you're going to balk at that at first, right? Because that feels uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable to hear these things when for so long you've had that voice of criticism telling you that you can't believe in yourself, that who you are needs to change. And over time, though, when you hear these things over and over again, it really does change how you think about yourself. On a scientific level, on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, it changes. And when you believe in yourself, when you know yourself, when you are out in the world, you carry yourself with more confidence. You can take things that maybe aren't working and break those cycles and show a new way of being. And I promise you, if you are here listening to this, that is what you're here to do, because that's the reason why you think who you are isn't good, because you are here to show a new way. And when you're doing that, that takes believing in yourself. That takes unwavering trust and confidence in yourself. And I say unwavering, but that's not true. It'll waver, but the believing in yourself is going to be stronger than the doubt. And that is how we change the world for the better. That is how you change your life for the better. That is how you see yourself as someone who does deserve that rest, who does deserve to say no to things, who does deserve better. And so that's what I mean when I say believing in yourself, is how you be yourself. You have to believe to be it. Otherwise, you will always be looking for someone to tell you who to be, and it will always not feel quite right. And we're breaking that cycle. Maybe we're breaking it today, but
Yeah.
it's done. No more of this business.
Right.
Time to believe in yourself.
Yeah, believe in yourself. Oh my God, that was beautifully said. Like, round of
That was
applause.
a full-blown channel, that one.
Yeah, I
We
felt it.
definitely went
I,
into an energetic channel there.
I tried really hard not to interrupt because I was like, wait a minute, she's in her.
You can
No,
interrupt me anytime, don't worry.
you, listen, I've been there myself. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I people ask me all the time, like people like from the outside look at me from a different, I've had
Yeah.
one person tell me this, and I remember it very well because it's the only time anyone has ever actually gone out of their way to be like,
Mm-hmm.
this is how it seems like you're doing from my point of view. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy when like you hear from another person's perspective, like what they think,
Mm-hmm.
like and so I'll share it with you guys, like from my perspective, it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing all these things. I have like 30 different hats. I'm doing this and this and this, and like I'm trying to do this and that, and I'm trying to pay the rent, da, 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 right? Like I feel like things are falling apart, and I'm like, I'm over here and I need like three other me's, right? But then my friend, she goes, you just look like you have it all together, like you have it all figured out. Like she's like your Instagram's flawless, like this is like you look like you don't struggle a day in your life. And I'm like, if that couldn't be the farthest thing from the truth, like I have to
Yeah.
consistently have conversations with myself, and
Yep.
it's constantly a conversation about, it's always me in my mind. It's always a mind game every day. Every
Yep.
day it is a mind game between me and myself and nobody else. Like literally nobody
Yep.
else. And that is the freaking key. That is the I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say, I think that's the little missing ingredient for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like I have been a loner most of my life, not by choice. I think that's just how the universe wanted it to be for me and my soul
Sure.
experience. Like I just like easily, a lot of people like fled my life, or they were
Mm-hmm.
just more for my growth and my expansion, right?
Yeah.
And so most of my life has just been like me and my family, or just me myself, right?
Yeah.
And so I just like, I don't know, I've never really had somebody be like, no, you look like you have it all figured out. Because like I know that's not true. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not true. But the key is believing in yourself. Like that's always
Yeah.
what it comes down to when people ask me, like, how do you keep going? Like you make it look
Mm-hmm.
so easy. It comes down to believing in yourself. But the thing is too, believing in yourself sounds easy, but that in itself takes work. And how do you get there? Awareness is really the first step,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're not really aware of your body's reactions, or your emotions, or your thoughts, or what you say to yourself here, like all these little things that take place, if
Yeah.
there's not much of awareness there, then you can't really like pay attention to what's going on,
Yeah.
let's just say to your machine, to your vessel,
Right.
in order to be able to like fully be confident in yourself, and
Yeah.
that is what builds that believing in yourself. Because I don't know if you relate to this or if you agree, but for me, the more that I worked on my mindset, and that goes hand in hand with like regulation and like actually integrating things in my day-to-day
Mm-hmm.
life, that is how my confidence also boosted because
Yes.
the more that I worked on myself meant the more aware and more conscious I was of how I responded to things and how I reacted to things and what I wanted to do throughout
Yeah.
my day, right? Instead of just letting the robot take on control, I was in control,
Yeah.
right? And so because of that, you immediately feel more confident because you're like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of the
True.
feeling that I have. Like, I'm like, all right, like I'm doing,
Yeah.
like I'm chose to be on my computer and research for 3 hours,
Right.
not my ego. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's a
Yes.
different type of energy that you're bringing to the table, and so that immediately boosts your confidence, which
Mhm.
essentially is you believing in yourself and you constantly doing that every day, right? Of course,
Yeah.
again, I have my days where I'm like, all right, I can't. Like today's my
It's
day.
true.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Same.
today, right? And I have to have a conversation with myself, like,
Yeah.
hey, remember, you not doing something today doesn't mean that you're
Yeah.
failing. Like you're worthy as you are. I have to have these conversations, and
Yeah.
so people don't see that. People don't
Yeah.
see the conversations that I consistently have with myself, even
Mhm.
though people might see me and like, oh no, she knows what she's talking about. Yeah, but I still have to continuously do it.
Yeah.
Like it's not just because you know it, it's one and done. Like you need to continuously be in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so everybody's gonna have downfalls.
Yeah.
Like you were just saying, like the roller coaster goes up and then comes down, up and come
Yeah.
down, up and then come down. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're not living your soul purpose.
Right.
Like it's like you're still believing in yourself, but believing yourself, part of that is like also nourishing yourself too. Like you don't want to. I always have to remind people, please nourish yourselves. Like as much as
Yeah.
you want to believe in yourself and be ambitious. Because let me tell you, me and Amanda over here. We're very ambitious women. Okay, and there's
It's
very
true.
many very ambitious women out there. Trust me, very talented, beautiful women out there. And I know we all have goals, we all have dreams. Like I want to have a big farm and just have animals and just that's all I want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want a mansion or anything. But but my point is we all have these goals and like
Yeah.
because we're ambitious, we want them when we want them, when we believe in ourselves, but please
Mhm.
just don't forget to pause and to just be and to just reflect on how far you've come already and how amazing you've been doing because it's so easy for us to forget to do that. Like in 1 month you could have accomplished so many things and you just forgot because you're focused on the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, trust me, and I say this to myself as well, okay, because I was just doing that earlier. so yeah, I mean, again, a quick little recap on what we were just saying. What soul purpose is not. Soul purpose is not your identity. It's not your job title. It's not whether you're a coach or whether you're a healer or an entrepreneur or a doctor. Like those are just expressions, loves. Okay, guys? Those are expressions that can change. Again, like we said, they can grow, they can develop and evolve over time. Um, Purpose lives underneath them. Okay, it's underneath. Okay, it's the tiny little threads that are the reason why we're here. Okay,
Right.
why the universe decided, hey, you know what, Amanda needs to be born on that day at this time. Okay, might know, you know what I'm saying, like there's a reason. And so it's not something that you figure out, okay, with logic. It's just not. And if you choose to be a doctor, a healer, or a coach, that's great, but it's just not just that. That's not all there is to your purpose. Okay, like you can't just like figure it out all in one sitting. Like trust me, I tried doing that when I was younger, and I was kicking myself in the butt trying to figure out like the one thing until I finally realized, wait, I have
Mhm.
so many things to offer. Why don't
Yeah.
I just do all of them and just like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean do them all at
Yeah.
once, right? Like, but like,
Maybe it does, really.
or
I mean,
like, if you want to go ahead, but like, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it's
Well, it's
just
honoring you and
yeah,
your energy and who you are, right? It's
yeah,
interesting that you say that
yeah.
because I think it's so fascinating for me personally when we talk about being who we are and like our purpose and the value that it carries because I was always told that my energy was like all over the place and that I didn't commit to anything and that I needed more structure and more like consistency. And I was told that even when I became an entrepreneur and I took a program, that's what I was told that like it needs to be like regimented. And so I just equated value with being consistent and being like and creating something. And I couldn't figure out why it always felt so awful, because I was just like, well, this doesn't make sense for me. Like, why am I going to walk you through a 10-step program if you're over here, if you're on step 7 already? Um, and I get shown time and time again, because again, we're talking about doubt. We're talking about like, going through the cycles of, well, is who I am okay? Or when something weird comes up, we take a few steps back, right? That's life and it's okay. I'm even saying that to myself. But it's being shown time and time again that the fact that I work best, my magic is at its strongest when there's no structure, because the person who I am working with, they're the program. It's their journey, it's their wisdom, and I am channeling whatever they need. And so often I have people who are clinging to structure because that's how they can have control, or that's what they've been told. They want to learn all of the things. And me with my magic comes swooping in and is like, no, like, let's get rid of that for now. And like, and it's very like unsettling, because you're like, oh, it's just me. Like, oh, like, what do I do? So I just think it's really interesting when some of the things that we think we need to change about ourselves are like the very thing that is our magic, that is what is needed. And the only reason we think we need to change it is because it doesn't fit the status quo. And we're
Yep.
here to show a different way. So I just think it's really cool. And I just, especially if you're in these stages of like figuring out who you are, why you're here, that purpose, um, now don't kind of disregard the things that you're like, oh, well, that needs to change, because I bet like that's the thing that you're really, really good at. And it's why you're meant to be here. And it just feels uncomfortable because it's not the norm. And you're not normal. So that's okay. You don't want to be boring.
Boring.
So boring.
I mean, what Amanda's saying is absolutely so true. Like, guys, like, I mean, some of you might already know this, depending on how far back you've listened, but like, I had, I was gonna say, shoot, I literally had it right at the tip of my tongue. I had a really good example. You see what happens? It's
Yeah.
okay. It'll come back when if it's meant to. You know me, divine timing. If it's meant to be, it'll come back. But it was literally right after whatever you were just saying, like what you were just saying, like an example came up, and I was like, oh, I have a perfect one. And I didn't want to interrupt you, so I was like, hold it, and I just forgot it.
It happens all the time to me.
Okay, it's okay. But basically, in a nutshell, I think it's because you were you this is so funny. Anyway, you guys are probably laughing your butts off right now if you're listening. Uh, this is what happens. Like,
Yeah.
like you just like there's so much information that wants to come out. Like, because there's
Yeah.
literally so much lived experience like that wants to come through to like so that they can so that the audience can like see how like normal it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, normalize it a little bit more. Um,
But have you had that experience of like kind of feeling like who you were needed to change, but that ends up being like your like gift to the world?
okay, yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me. See, it was meant to be. Yeah, I mean, guys, like I've always been a chatterbox, like my whole life. I mean, let's just say that's number one, okay? Chatterbox. And I always was told I was too loud, too much. I talk too much. Why are you so curious? Oh, the person in class that rose their hand, that was me, guys. Like people would hate me in class. Like, bro, put your hand down. And I'd be like, but I have a question. Like, I have a freaking question. I want to know. And so, what does that say for me? Just one cute little example is like my whole life, I was told that my voice was a problem, but little did they know is that my whole purpose revolves around my voice. My whole purpose revolves around my voice, my throat chakra, using my voice because I articulate energy into words, right? Whether it's channeling, like myself and Amanda do, whether
Yeah.
it's tarot, whether it's just like literally like I have all the clairs. So like whether it's any of those things, like I didn't unlock those abilities until I owned it within myself until I like finally started to reflect in myself and like look within. And so for a long time, my chatterbox, it was like I didn't know what it was. I just thought there was something wrong with me. Like I was like, okay, maybe I talk too much. Maybe I need to like not have that many questions, not be as curious. A lot of people always said too that I talk really fast and I never knew why. But it's I noticed growing up and like getting into this work that the whenever I channel or whenever I'm speaking straight from my higher self, I speak fast because that's me literally articulating energy into words in real time. And I couldn't understand that. But like I was always doing it as a kid, but people were like, "Bro, shut up." Like you talk too much. And now I'm just like I honestly like I accept it, I honor it, and when people literally tell me like that I well nowadays people don't really say it because like like I'm an adult
Or
now, so
you're owning it now. Like
own
people are
it.
really interested in what you have to say.
Exactly. People are actually just like they like to listen to what I say, and
Mhm.
people literally are like, "Whoa."
And the
I
difference
feel
is
like I
probably
just
that you believe in yourself and you know that what you have is valuable.
did
It's amazing.
magnetism. I want to emphasize on that for my audience. Like that's literally the magnetism, the power of magnetism and embodiment. Like that's what you do to people in rooms. It's like you literally make them listen to you because they have no other choice. Because like you're not shutting yourself into a shell, so they don't feel the need to shut you down because like they can't. Like they're like, oh, this person is really in their power, so like nothing I really do is gonna do anything. So like they have no choice but to just kind of be like mesmerized and kind of like listen to you or like be curious. You know what I mean? I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like in a very humble way, guys, okay? Because like these are just things that you just notice because you're aware of your energy, but you don't actually like pin it out in the moment. You know what I mean? Like you just I see you. It's like but yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the things that like one of the gifts that I've always had that like in terms of singing as well, it's very connected to my singing. Like
Yeah.
I grew up singing. I was 2 years old singing. Like I have videos and pictures of me just like like just harmonizing like I don't even know why. I'm just on a bench in the middle of a park just like and like I don't remember
Awesome.
these things, like you don't remember these things. And as you get older and like, as many people might know or may not know, if you haven't, then you'll soon find out. Coming from another country, from Chile, South America, and like being
Mhm.
conditioned to like the new structures of this country and like the new language and like the new everything was just different. Like even the food is different, man. Like you guys fucked me up, okay? My stomach is not the same. But anyway, basically like all of the changes that I experienced growing up here, going home to like a different culture and then leaving the same that house and going into a school district that was like very opposite and like learning different, everything different.
Mhm.
Um I just really learned to shut myself down, right? And the biggest thing was my voice and my root chakra that were and my sacral root throat were the biggest ones. But once a couple are blocked, your whole system, your whole gets a little fogged up. So that also affected my creativity, and it started to affect my imagination and my wonder for life as I got older. And like I had a lot of that as a kid, but then it just disappeared. My faith disappeared, and like all of that started to happen. The more I was conditioned, the more I got through bullying, the more I felt left out, the more I felt like why me, like that feeling of why me, right? And so all of the singing and the wonder left, and it took my awakenings for me to realize again how much I love singing and how much it's just a part of me. And this happened years ago, right? And like ever since I realized it, and I was like, no, like I'm great at this. Like this is just
Yeah.
something that like I have this gift. It's for a reason. Like, and does that mean that I'm gonna go be the next Zara Larson? Shit, I mean that'd be amazing. That girl got moves. But like, it means that if I want to, I fucking could because I'm at that point that I believe in myself to do whatever I want to do. Right. So if that is the goal, okay, we'll work on it. But it doesn't mean it has to be that either. It could mean me just using my voice itself because it's so open that it in itself is going to get people to finally listen. And that in itself is enough, right? But
Yeah.
it could be so many different things. Like I have the choice now because I'm aware of it. And that is the beauty of awareness because once you have the awareness, you can finally make that conscious choice. And now it's no longer in everybody else's control, but it's fully yours, and you get the choice. You get to choose. And again, it's not your that's not all there is to your purpose. Like me singing it is not all there is to me. Like singing is one of the things, right? But it's also speaking truth that I love to do. It's helping people reflect back to them what they need to know that they themselves don't know how to articulate, right? That I do. So I help them understand themselves better. Like that is such a gift, right? And whatever happens with that, great. But like I just feel like the purpose thing, coming back to purpose, it's in every little thing that we do,
Yeah,
right? From this moment, me and you having a conversation, like God knows if there's something that I've said at this point that maybe did something to you that you haven't heard, and you heard it for a reason. You get what I'm saying? Like that is how
absolutely.
intricate life is, guys. Like that is how tiny microscopically it is. Like you have no idea, but it is so beautiful. And it really starts with here. Like we also have to remember, like the heart chakra is like, we got the bridge over here with the upper centers and the lower centers. And once your heart chakra opens, bro, that is like the highest vibrational frequency of the that's the earth's vibrational frequency is love, guys. That is that earth's vibrational frequency is love. The highest form of frequency is love. And when you love yourself unconditionally, and when you give out love without expecting anything in return, you're literally at you're living at the optimal, like the highest vibration that you can. And again, I don't want to like make it seem like, oh, you're living at a low frequency, like you're low no, like we all experience lows and highs, okay,
Mhm.
guys? Like there's no such thing as always being up here, okay? Because I see a lot of that on like social media.
Yeah.
There's you're always gonna be fluctuating. Why? Because emotions are always fluctuating. Emotions are always coming and going. Why? Because things are always happening in life. You get what I'm saying? Like it's unrealistic to expect somebody to always be in alignment. Now, can you be regulated overall? Like overall have a regulated body? Yeah, but that still doesn't mean that you're always going to be high vibe. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, Amanda. Be by all means.
Yeah, I mean, I I agree so much. Like I think sometimes we're sold this idea that there's a finish line and then everything's perfect and amazing, and that completely discounts the fact that we're humans having a human experience here on this planet, that is very much in a huge state of change. And sometimes we can feel like we're failing because we're having a bad day, or because things get hard. But I think the work that we're doing, and when you're kind of being yourself, living in your purpose, finding that alignment, having that regulation, is just being aware that the low times or the bad times aren't the steady state. They're not what we're looking for, right? We're and the good times are the things that we deserve. That so we're maybe when we're in the lows, we know it's not going to last forever, and when we're in the highs, we know that that's not going to last forever either, so we can make the most of those moments, um and know that we're not failing because we're feeling rough, or we're struggling, um that no matter what, you're still a good person, you're still doing amazing things, and you deserve support, or you deserve to feel better. um
Yeah.
you deserve to look after you, kind of thing. So it's like this, just making space for you in all stages of life, is this huge act of love, right, for yourself. um and it also helps you just be the best version of you, and understand that we're all human, right?
Yeah.
We don't have it all figured out because we're not supposed to. That's a lifelong journey that we're on. And so that we can just embrace those highs and lows in a bit of a different way than, maybe we have in the past.
Yeah, I mean 1,000%. Like you said, so purpose is not this single destination that you arrive at. And I feel like a lot of people put this pressure on themselves to arrive to it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, especially when it comes to stability, like monetarily, people have this idea that it's like, okay, once I get to that destination, everything's gonna be perfect now. Like I'm gonna be happy all the time now.
Yeah.
And I just want to emphasize how not true that is. And like, please don't fall into that trap. and believe that, because then you'll always feel disconnected and we will always feel like something's missing. You guys have to realize that the only way to maintain stability or happiness or whatever it is that you
Yeah.
desire in life is by one, being grateful for what you already have now,
Hmm.
two, being okay with what's present, right? Being okay with what's around you, like just like living in the present, like and making the best of what it is that you have now,
Yeah.
right? And it's not so much being in the future, like because that's the thing too. A lot of people are like, let's just say you're in a shitty apartment and you're hopeful of a mansion. I'm just giving an example. If you're constantly living every day in your apartment, but you're constantly complaining and you're like, oh, I want to be in a mansion. Oh, I want to be in a mansion, right? That's going to disconnect you more than you accepting the fact that you're in an apartment that you might not like, but yet you're making the best out of it. So what does that look like? Putting around candles of like, that make it smell nicer.
Yeah.
Maybe changing the curtain so it feels homier. Maybe like sweeping your floor so that it smells good. Like take
Yeah.
care of your home the way you would your mansion,
Hmm.
right? And a lot of people forget to do that part, and that's the
Yeah.
huge disconnect. It's like you got to do what you would do there now in order to be able to attract that. Because if you
Yeah.
don't, then your body doesn't feel safe enough to even have it. And that's what
Yep.
it comes down to. It comes down to your body feeling safe enough to have it,
Yes.
right? And so, and especially right now on social media, especially TikTok with the spiritual community and like all these like trends and stuff, I've been seeing a lot of like selling these hopes for people that like, it's a quick fix.
Right.
Like they can just overnight affirm something and manifest it and it'll happen. And it's such a fucked up way to make money. Like it's really all it is, because like you're feeding off of people's literal survival conditioning that they have, that they're actually needing to get out of, but instead of actually helping them, they're selling you a fake lot, like a fake fix, right?
Yeah.
And I talk about this in my last episode about manifestation.
Hmm.
Like you guys have to like accept your reality where you are right now in order to change anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And accept that in this reality, you're still good.
exactly. Mm.
Like that, if we're constantly in this place of, well, when this happens, then I'm of value, or then I can love myself, or then I'm living in my purpose. You're always going to be looking for something and chasing something in the same way, right? But when you kind of go, no, all parts of me right now are good, even the ones that make mistakes, even the ones that maybe I want to change, all of it is good right now and deserving of good things. And that can be really helpful too, especially when we talk about believing in ourselves and living in alignment and purpose. Um, it's a huge part of just being like, no, it's not some magical version of you in the future that has it all figured out. It's the you right now in the trenches figuring this out. Like that's the person who's incredible and who's magical and inspirational and who is has all of these gifts and all of this magic, right? Like it's really just accepting that it's not meant to be perfect. It's
It's
meant to be
supposed to be
real.
messy. That's the thing too. Sorry for my phone's moving. Um, what a lot of people don't see, like a lot of people, how do I say this? A lot of people see the success stories, the made it moments, but they never see the 10 years of fucking hell,
Right.
right? The ups and
Yeah.
downs.
Yeah.
And so it's so important to like emphasize on that, like you were saying,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's gonna be, slow and steady wins the race. You know,
Yeah.
that's I say that a lot. Slow and steady wins the race. And so I also wanted to like come back to what we were saying. Like when you were saying the whole once I find it, I'm done. Like the sole purpose. Once you find it, I'm
Yeah.
done. Purpose, like you were just saying, purpose evolves as you evolve.
Yep.
Like one year you're gonna want to do this, the next year you might want to do not something else. But the thing is, like, it's almost like the way I visualize it when I like the
Mm-hmm.
image that I'm being given, it's like the timelines merge as you
I
evolve.
love that.
You know what I mean? So think
Yeah.
of the DNA strand, but can you do me a favor? Visualize the DNA strand, but as if it's not stranded together yet. But as it's like it's you can see it fold into each other.
Mm.
Okay, like it's not yet twisted together, but you see it in the process of getting together. You get what I'm saying? And then it becomes a DNA strand. That's how I see like the strands kind of just like going like this, and then they start to get like intertwined.
Yeah.
That's almost what's happening with the two versions of ourselves, the one that we are now and the one that we really want to become, or
Right.
we constantly are always hoping for and visualizing.
Yeah.
It's what's happening is if you are actively like working on yourself and like showing up and doing the thing right, what happens is these two, and what I'm seeing is like they start to merge. But the way it happens isn't the way you think it would happen. It's not like, oh, overnight it's just, no, it merges through experience, right? At the same time, the time elapsed through, right? Time is very slow. Time is a lot slower than quantum. Quantum is fast, right? So it starts to merge over time. So let's just say 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, right? A year later, right, whatever. Eventually, you don't even remember that version of you that you didn't like so bad, right? At one point, you're like, that sounds foreign. You're like, I don't even remember that, right? You're like, is that
Right.
was that a dream? Eventually, you just are it. I don't know how to explain that. That's just
Yeah.
how it is, guys. Eventually, you just are it, and next thing you know, you're just showing up, and it's easy. And when the chaos comes in, you're like, I know how to handle it, and like you handle it like a champ. And let me tell you, are there bad days? Of course, there's gonna be bad days for everybody, but you just know how to fucking handle it. Like you just like, and then you win every time. It's like picture yourself in a ring, right? You go in that fight, and every time you come out with the belt. And like at that point, it's just a waiting game. It's a surrender game. It's a patience thing, which at that point you already got locked down. And so
Yeah.
at that point, it's just the time will come and the time will come and like that's it. You know what I mean? Like you just keep working towards what you got to do, co-creating. When I say co-create, it's because you're putting in the work in as the universe is also creating, moving things around for you energetically behind the scenes to provide you with the opportunities or the people or the people that you meet at strange place, you know what I mean, everything that gets
Right.
formed for you around you. Meanwhile, you're over here focusing on you. The more you do that, your aura, your magnetism just boom boom
Yeah.
boom boom. What does that do? You're attracting, you're attracting. Oh, and that how happens even more because you're in this phase of surrender, of undeniable trust, not only with yourself, but with the universe. And guess what, guys? That is where the magic happened. And that is how manifestation actually works. Manifestation is not the method, it is the outcome of all of your work. Oh, mwah. I'm sorry. See, that's how I channel. Can you tell that was a
I
channel?
love it.
You see, I talk fast when
Yep.
I crazy.
Love it.
I almost forgot what I said. But,
The
but I
best.
got that because that was from my soul. And again, if you want to know more about manifestation, again, make sure you listen to it. It's one of my previous episodes where I expose manifestation. Ooh, tea. But would you agree, Amanda, that soul purpose is not ego validation?
No.
Exactly. It's driven by excuse me, if it's driven, that's what I'm gonna say. If it's driven
Mhm.
by approval, or if it's driven by external validation, or if it's driven by, the money it gives you, or if for being seen as special or as more than, or whatever ego led thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not so led.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it there, okay? And if you feel like you fall in that category, I urge you to just reflect. There's nothing wrong with you. Again, please don't shame yourselves, okay? Because we've all been there. Um, but just remember that soul purpose it's not constantly like it's not constant clarity. Like you're not always gonna know what your purpose is every moment of the day. Like we were just saying over and over, like it's always changing and it's something that evolves with you. And it's not something that you're behind on. Like, please, guys, like, you're not
Mhm.
behind. No one is ever behind. I always tell this to every person, too. Like, you're never behind on anything. Even when you think you're behind, you're on time. Like you're on time, even if you think you're really freaking late. Like I'm telling you, you're probably on time. um, but like and another thing too, which again, please tell me if you agree with this, Amanda. Like
Mhm.
experienced this a lot on my journey. Okay, confusion, the doubt,
Yeah.
the periods of not knowing what the hell was going on anymore. Like you didn't know which way to go. You know, those parts are literally part of the path.
Oh my
Right.
gosh, yeah. They're how we grow and learn about ourselves. And something that's really interesting too is as you start to see yourself differently and you realize the impact that you're having and that who you are is good, that immediately can actually feel worse than better, because sometimes we have a lot of clarity around what's not working in our lives or what's happening in our lives that we don't deserve, um, or what we've allowed maybe because we believed that that was what we were meant to have in our lives. And so sometimes it can actually be a huge moment of discomfort first, before we start to kind of go, oh, okay. um, and it's not a bad thing, and it doesn't mean you're going backwards. It actually means that you're moving forwards, right? And I mean, my take on this is I don't know that self-doubt ever stops. I think we maybe always have that voice in our head that's kind of like, sure. But the work that you're doing and the work that you're kind of aiming for is that that voice is way quieter than the one telling you why it's good and why
Ex-
you're good and why you should do it. um because I don't know. I don't know if there's ever a moment where we're just like, oh, everything's fine, it's quiet, I can do whatever I want. We just learned that that voice doesn't have the weight that it used to, and that's what changes things for the better, which is really cool.
I what I like to say, tame the beast.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Like, you know, having a rowdy dog and now it's not so rowdy anymore. Like it knows to it you I also great point to mention here is because of that, your ego is not your enemy, guys. Your ego is something that you need to learn how to befriend. Okay, your ego is there to protect you. It's just that when you're coming out of all of these survival conditionings, or you know, whether you're going through anything, you know, in life, a lot of us have gone through many different things, right? It or we rely on our ego to protect us through certain moments, but then after a while it becomes self-sabotage, or it can become self-sabotage, or it can become just like excuses for things that aren't going to help you grow. And so it's just a matter of learning that your ego is there, is your frenemy. It's your frenemy. Your enemy, your enemy in disguise. No, I'm just kidding. Your ego is there to be your friend. It's just learning how, it's almost like being like, "Hey, I need you." You know? But like
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, like we're always going to have days where we doubt ourselves, or doubt's always going to come through.
Yeah.
Like it's human. Like our ego doesn't just disappear. We just
I
have a better time learning, like being able to like quiet the voice and
Yeah.
talk ourselves through that.
I also have a working theory that
Yeah.
people who were told to dim their light and that they were too much and like need ego. Like ego has been squashed down into nothing. We've been told ego is a bad thing, that we're not allowed to have it. Whereas a lot of people need that like boost of being like, no, you're allowed to like see yourself as like this awesome being. You're not going to do something. The fact that you're even worried about your ego to me is like, you're not, I don't think you're going to go off and do anything terrible with this ego. I think you're actually going to go and do really amazing things when we're leaning into that part of ourselves that's like, yeah, I do rock. You're right. I am awesome. I am going to go do those things. Right. Instead of like this, oh my gosh, I need to live up to these people's standards. What will they think of me? Like that kind of spot. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people need more of that like positive friendship with ego because yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. I mean, especially because there's such a huge difference between, you know, being confident from like a humble place, like owning and like knowing you're amazing because it's in your innate like
yeah,
it's just by being here, you are worthy, like you're
Yeah.
abundant, like you're beautiful inside and out, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and you can see that. You can see the way it radiates through someone when that's why where it's coming from. Like it's coming from an
Yes.
authentic place, like they have reverence for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when somebody is like, yeah, I'm the best, but it's coming from an ego place,
Yeah.
you can also tell
Yeah.
energetically, especially someone that's very good with energy, you can feel it. Like,
Yeah.
that's coming from more that's not coming from your soul. It feels like
Yeah.
there's no humility there. And so there is a big difference, but at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's only gonna affect the person who that is, right?
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, very interesting that you said that. And I wanted to say, oh, back to the whole late thing. That's what it was. When you said that there's no timeline, right? Like a lot of people feel like they missed the bus. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they missed, oh
Yep.
shit, should have done that, or I missed it, or I'm late, I'm running behind. That comes with comparison, right?
Mhm.
That's not coming from truth, right?
Yep.
And I know so many of us have been there. I mean, oh my God, I am guilty for that. Like guilty as charged, okay? Like,
Mhm.
but I just wanted to be shown how human this is, guys. Like
Yeah.
I go through this all the time and I have to constantly remind myself, like, listen, you got to give yourself, talking to myself, I'm like, you got to give yourself credit. Like you learned a second language. You were raised in a different place. Like like I
Mhm.
have to kind of like go rewind, remember
Mhm.
all this. Like you're different. Like, and that's okay. You're not the same person. You have a different blueprint,
Yeah.
like than X, Y, and Z. And so it's so easy for us to like fall in that trap of comparison,
Mhm.
especially when we feel like we're not in our purpose.
Yeah.
Because now we're feeling like we're searching for our purpose and we're feeling like we're late and we're comparing ourselves, and that's just a whole trap. And
Yeah.
oh my God, that when you do that, it means you're bypassing your emotions and your pain, and like if it requires all that, like to bypass your emotions and your it's dissociation, it's
Yeah.
dissociation. And so purpose, it shouldn't feel forced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It shouldn't feel like something that you have to do. You know what I mean? If that's the case, it's most likely ego driven.
Yeah.
Um, okay, little confirmation, beep beep. As well as like if you could probably agree with this, like as well as if it feels rushed or if
Yeah.
it feels like pressured, or like fear driven, like if I don't do this now, type thing, then
It's
that's
a good way to tell when old cycles are playing through that tell you that like things are going to happen immediately, that you have to do this, that it needs to look a specific way. And it's all just stuff that's setting you up for failure and to stay in this cycle of again, this is kind of like looking outside of yourself and like believing that you have to live up to something else that
yeah.
isn't yours. um and I think in spirituality too, a lot of times the humanness gets taken out of it, and it doesn't make any sense because we are here doing this journey, and as humans, we have the ups and downs. It takes the time that it takes. Like it, there's no quick fixes, there's no finish lines, there's no nothing. It's just the journey and being present and like all of that kind of stuff. And that's what's really hard because we've been conditioned to believe that we're not meant to do that, that we're not meant to slow down, that we have to keep pushing and struggling to earn it. And this is actually the opposite of that. It's slowing down. When we were looking for purpose, we're being ourselves. And like, so we need to slow down. We need to be aware of the present moment. We need to give ourselves compassion for the fact that the journey is going to look different for everybody. And like, yeah, it's well, it's basically a whole unlearning of like what we've been told and feeling into what is actually true for us. So it's hard, but it's also really rewarding when we do it. And it's also the value right now of why so many people are like, who am I? Why am I here? I know that there's more out there for me, because we are breaking these old cycles,
Yeah.
to make space for what is next.
Oh, 1,000%. And like a really good way to frame it too, like ego purpose, you might say something like, what should I be doing?
Yeah.
right? What should I be doing right now? So if you guys notice yourselves asking, what should I be doing with my life? Know right there, ego. Okay. If you ask yourself what feels true right now, that's so led. That's your purpose right there. Because you're allowing your body to tell you what feels right. And best believe your body will tell you. Because again, ego wants certainty, it wants approval, right? And it wants identity, and that's why there's so many labels in in our reality. That's why we have left versus right. That's why we have uh female, male, like we have all these names and
Yeah.
titles. Like it's like people feel good when there's identity or when they feel like they're a part of something,
Yes.
right? And it can be a slippery slope because again the ego wants the identity, but the soul
Mhm.
the soul moves through curiosity and moves
Right.
through resistance and
Yeah.
timing, right?
Yeah.
Timing. We don't get to choose that either. And that's another big human thing is we love to ask
Yeah.
when this, when how, when
Yep.
that. And so how do you see this specific like the way the ego wants certainty and the way the soul moves through your curiosity and like how, you especially that you work with clients,
Mhm.
do you see this show up in people like that they ask what should I be doing instead of like what feels true to them?
Absolutely. I mean, people and same. It would be great if someone could tell you who you are and why you're here and what you're here to do. Because we want that. And like you said, I think it's really like we want belonging. We want to know what category we fit ourselves into so that we can um we know how to act and what to do. But this isn't it, because again, if you're here, I'm pretty darn positive you're not meant to fit into any category, right? You're
No.
here to create your own.
Well,
uh, right, like you're not here to, but I and when we kind of lean into that idea of individuality, even though we're all part of the same kind of, we're all part of the same fabric of the universe, we're all
right.
helping each other, all of that. But you need to be okay with being you, and the fact that that may not be the same right as what you want it to be, or that someone can't necessarily tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And so yeah, absolutely, people usually come with this idea of, okay, we're going to do the steps and it's going to work out. And I'm very much like, no, this is about you exploring. This is about exploration. This is about uncharted territory. Like, what are we going to do? What do you feel? And something that I think a lot of people do is they're looking for the hard things. They're looking for the struggle. They're looking for what they need to overcome to kind of earn things. And when I talk about purpose and gifts, it's about ease and fun and what feels right for you, what feels good for you,
Oh yeah.
and exploring that, like letting that be the path instead of the hard stuff. I'm like, the hard things, living in your purpose and doing what you're here to do, like your gifts aren't hard. It's not. They're not meant to be. It's not meant to be difficult for you. The difficulty comes in believing that it's true, seeing yourself the way you deserve to, letting go of what other people think, and actually getting to exist. So it's kind of rewiring our brains from how we think we need to learn and become and explore in our own lives, and actually letting ourselves be the leaders, letting ourselves take the next steps. And in my case, having someone with you who helps you see, who helps you remember, who encourages you to keep going, to keep being, and who changes your perspective. And then those tenuous steps that you take in the beginning on this journey all of a sudden become these very confident strides forward as the journey goes on, because you have these things, and you really get to see yourself differently. So yeah, I think it ends up looking really different as we kind of break down the old patterns that we're kind of told is how we do things, how we figure it out, how we exist in the world. And I go, what if none of that exists? What are we going to do? Right? We need to figure this out. And what I think is really cool too is like, it's not like I'm saying you never look outside of yourself for stuff, because of course there's so many amazing people teaching so many amazing things in this world.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely want to take that information. But it's the difference between trying to fit into an expectation or a box and instead going, no, I already know who I am. This is an extension of me, and I get to take this and do what I'm here to do with it.
Right.
So it really kind of shifts that thinking from fitting into a box, I guess, and instead of just being this like multidimensional, incredible being that you're here to be, and just owning the hell out of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I really like how specifically you mentioned, a part of it being like not caring so much what people think, A lot of your clients have a
Part
problem,
of it.
a struggle with that. And that is such that's usually I really like I use the word struggle very lightly, but or I try to, but when I say struggle is like that's something that I feel like a lot of people in the collective, deal with is
Mm-hmm.
like their fear of how they're being seen or their fear of other people's opinions or what people are going to say. And let me tell you guys, because some of you may know me from TikTok, my TikTok platform, and if you do, let me tell you straight out, okay? Before I ever posted my first collective reading on TikTok, I started with 300 followers, maybe, right? And I was afraid of how I was perceived for starting, to be not because I wanted to be an influencer, but because I wanted to actually attempt to build a community on TikTok for myself, right? Because I wanted to build my own community. And it took me a long time before I finally built the confidence enough. And mind you, I did it scared and I did it anyway. I wasn't confident and then I did it. I did it with with little confidence to none and scared and did it anyway. And that is how you do it. That is honestly the only way to really do it and to actually build true confidence, in yourself and actually believing in yourself and like really believe in yourself because that's how you move forward and continue to make decisions
Yeah.
for yourself and then that is how you continue to show up for yourself. And so I had to post my first collective reading ever and do it freaking terrified of like what people were going to say. Oh my God, I hope it reaches the right people, no hashtags or nothing. Like, I hope, and it wasn't about me doubting my channel. It was just doubting, like, hoping that it reached the right, like, it was just like,
Yeah.
there was just fear, right?
Yeah.
And so it was that moment for me that pivoted everything because, from that moment forward, I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I got great response. I got great reaction. Like, why am I over here hesitating? Like I'm a beast. Like I like why am I over here? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you for a minute you second guess your abilities and you second guess
Yeah.
your gifts because only you know about them. Only
Yeah.
you know about them. So it's almost like being like, all right, world, here's my gifts. Um, and like now it's like the world reflecting back to you. Like, and it's like you finding out, and is this BS or is this not BS? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that feeling of
Yeah.
like, wait, is it just me or is it just, And it's like that was a moment for me where I realized, like, oh no, like I'm the real deal. I didn't realize I was. And like it's like it was almost like
Yeah.
a denial process.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I continue to show up for myself, which was hard,
Yeah.
the more my following grew, but not only that, because that's just the cherry on top, the more comfortable I became in not only posting the video itself, but actually in my abilities. My abilities themselves got stronger than ever
Yes.
before. Ever before. Because now I lean into it. Now I don't like the way I do readings is like I don't show up, I don't like pull out my phone and go, okay, I want to do a reading. I only channel when the channel comes to me.
Yeah.
Like I like to do things very authentically. Like I don't know. Like I don't want to just post the reading. Like it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel authentic, It doesn't feel
Yeah.
real. Like if I channel a song, which I channel a lot musically, um, and it to me it won't make sense. Like I'm like, why am I listening to a Shrek song? I've never seen Shrek. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. I know. I finally saw it like last year, I think I finally saw it. But for a long time, I didn't know the Shrek. So like the song would come in my brain. I'm like, why am I? Okay, there's a message. See,
Right.
but that's the only way I'll ever do them because then I know it's actually for somebody out there. And that's usually the videos I do the best, because it's actually a
Yeah.
message, that needs to get out. But when you try to force it, I don't like that. But anyway, whatchamacallit? But back to what we were saying, back to the whole thing is like I had to really like keep showing up to build that confidence, and like it took time, and like then like it took maybe like a year and a half before I finally like built a platform that like I at least was proud of, like that I did on my own. And at least from there, yeah, I'm gonna probably aim for a higher. That's normal, but at least I know, oh, I can.
Right.
When, I don't care when it happens. You know what I mean? It's just the
Yeah.
fact of knowing deep inside that you can. And that's what
Yeah.
matters. I mean, that is what changes everything because, you know, like we were saying, I'm gonna keep having downs. Like there's weeks where I don't post, but that's also okay. Before I used to pressure myself, like, oh, you have to
Right.
show up. Oh, the algorithm. Oh, I don't give a flying fuck anymore about that. Honestly, like I don't
Yeah.
care. The way I think of it is like I own the algorithm.
Right.
Okay, I own the algorithm. When I post, the algorithm is excited for me. Okay,
Right.
because when I post with intention. I don't post because I'm like, oh my god, this is totally gonna get a million views. Like, no, like I don't care. Okay, like if it happens, great, amazing, a
Yeah.
million friends. But I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I it comes from soul. It comes
Hmm.
from from this like fire, this passion, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't come from, oh, let me do this because actually, yeah, this is totally gonna do well today. Like when you do it that way, it dilutes the message, and I just feel like it dilutes everything that comes from it, right? And so, you know, that is literally it. That's how I got to being able to like finally fully believe in myself, was like you have to do it scared. And like, you're again, even that itself, the soul purpose in itself, like that kept evolving over time. It kept changing, and I kept learning and growing more and more and more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at first it was a TikTok, but later on was a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, well, then I had to, again, another thing, like, oh my
Hmm.
god, like if you guys listen to the first episode, if you've never listened to my first episode, you can I literally, I everything's raw. Like you can hear it in my voice. I'm shaking, I am
Right.
scared, I am almost in tears crying because for the first time I finally was getting on a mic to share my first episode that I've been dreaming for, what, maybe like 2 3 years now at the time. And then to finally get myself to do it, that was scary
Yeah.
as shit. But now I'm here on like episode maybe 20. Like, guys,
Amazing.
it's crazy. But by showing up scared is how you develop more confidence in yourself, more belief in yourself. And by believing in yourself is how you truly can be yourself. And so that's why I'm so talkative, because this is who I am. And yeah, it's beautiful how it all works. And like if I didn't ever post on TikTok, I would have never gotten to a point of doing my podcast, right? The TikTok was like the stepping stone. Like
Hmm.
get comfortable with an audience, get comfortable posting, get comfortable using your voice, I want, the universe is like, yeah, like we need to work on your gifts, like, your clairs need to develop a little bit more, da, 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 right? And then next thing you know, all right, podcast, boom. All right, well, in order to put a podcast out there, you gotta be really comfortable talking. Like you gotta be like throat chakra open sesame. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so subconsciously, I knew that. I was like, all right, I need to be fully vulnerable. Like I need this to be so vulnerable. Like I want this to be pure medicine for people. Like I want people to like literally feel like they know me through my audio. Like they can like feel me, my soul. And like I wanted to be bold. I wanted to be rebel. Like I knew exactly what I wanted to be, but I knew I needed to be comfortable on the mic. And that would have never happened if I didn't get comfortable on TikTok. So
Yeah.
what am I trying to say here, guys? Again, you don't know why things happen until they do, and things just make sense. And on top of that, again, your soul purpose is always evolving with you. It's always
Yes.
evolving with you. And again, soul-led things, you're always going to wonder, you know, what feels good right now? And that is what I continuously kept asking myself. And that is what led me to the next thing and the next thing. And that's how I got led to Amanda. Why? Because my higher self one day, and I shit you not, man, this is a true story. I woke up one day, and this must have been like a month, like literally a day before you reached out on Threads.
Yeah.
I wake up and I do my most of my channel. I journal every morning because that's when the world is still sleeping and quiet. I get bombarded with messages and I just write them in a journal. And that's when I just feel like the most clear. I don't know if you're the same way, but that's just how I am. And I remember just laying down on my pillow and I'm like, why can't I go back to sleep? And I was so annoyed. And then out of nowhere, my brain, my higher self just like gives me the idea. I was like, you should like post like a like a calling out message on Threads about like getting some podcast guests.
Right.
Like literally like so random, like so left field. Like 6:30 in the morning, Amanda.
Right.
And I'm like,
Love it.
and me with my awareness, I'm like, all right, there's a reason why I had that thought. That was a
Yeah.
solo thought. I'm gonna follow it. I'm not gonna ask why. I'm gonna follow it and see what happens.
Nice.
Bro, the responses that I got on that thread was insane. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Over
lot.
70 something comment. I was like, what? If that's not an example of what it means to literally follow your muse and follow your higher self, and when it talks, fucking listen. Don't ask
Yeah.
why, just fucking listen. All right. It
Yeah.
will be revealed to you in time. But like that's what I did. And
Yeah.
I got so many people responding to me about wanting to be on the podcast. I was like, I had to eventually at some point shut down the applications because I was getting too many.
Wow.
I was,
That's
yeah,
exciting.
I mean, it's an honor, but like, I'm like, holy crap.
Too
I'm like,
much.
okay. Um, no, I'm very honored. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful. But yeah, I mean, that's just to show you guys, like, I followed my higher self in the moment. I didn't really like doubt it. I was just like, no, I'm gonna lean into that. There's a reason why I thought that. And I posted it, and here we are. Amanda and I are now currently having an amazing, deep, soul-led conversation.
Yeah.
Like, beautiful. And like the whole point of what I put out on my post was like, and this is why I feel like a lot of people felt aligned, was that I emphasized it's not meant to be an interview. It's not meant to be like me interrogating anybody. It's meant to be a conversation, right? A conversation like that just flows, and it's something that's raw and it's authentic, and we're not only are we like sharing so much information that the listeners, the viewers can like take on with them, whether you're writing down on your journal right now, whether you're just listening, running on your treadmill, whatever it is that you're doing, like there's just so much vulnerability in here too. We
Yeah.
share a little bit of ourselves. You got to share a little bit of yourself, like, which before we wrap it up, I want to know a little bit about what got you into this work, okay?
Absolutely.
But before we get into that, I want to emphasize again to my audience, clarity doesn't come when you force answers. All right. That's something that I've had to learn myself. It doesn't come when you force answers. Okay. Whenever you feel like you're at a crossroad, and I'm picturing like the Two of Swords energy, whenever you feel like you're at a crossroad, that is literally the time to just pick nourishment. Just pick, it doesn't matter what you got going on around you. Literally, it doesn't matter. Okay. Pick nourishment. You'll never go wrong with that. Pick nourishment, whether that's reading your favorite book, whether that's drawing, whether that's doodling, whether that's taking deep breaths, meditating, listen to your favorite songs, singing, that's what I do, dancing, that's what I do too. Whether it's painting, whether it's cooking, whatever it is that like this already, like it fills you up and it makes you happy.
Right.
When you're feeling confused, do that. And I promise you, clarity will come in divine timing, exactly when you need it, not later or sooner than you need it. Okay, but by forcing it and trying to just you're gonna drive yourself nuts, and you're gonna probably overact or project in some way, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna just don't do that to yourself. So just, you feel yourself confused, you feel like you need clarity and you're not getting it, what can I do for myself today? Ooh, I want some coffee. Yeah, let's go do that. Get your mind on something that's nourishing, okay? And I promise you that will help. Um, It comes to you. The clarity comes to you when the body feels safe enough to receive that, right? So if you're consistently going through your head like trying to figure out, trying to find, right, the answer, your body's not going to feel safe. Okay, you need to relax your vagus nerve. We need to come back to our bodies and feel safe in order for us to receive, excuse me, that clarity that we're
Right.
craving, right? And that can be as little as going for a walk or doing some jumping jacks, whatever you got to do. Because again, my loves, I want to remind you, feeling loss is part of your purpose. It's part of everybody's purpose has to at one point, many points, feel lost, confused, or
Yep.
conflicted. Okay. So if you're feeling any of those things right now, please trust that you're not doing anything wrong. It's not your fault. You're not alone. And you're very much worthy just the way you are. All right. But yeah, before we wrap this up, please, Amanda, I want to know, well, I kind of know already, but I want my audience, my viewers to know more about
Yeah.
like what got you into this work because truthfully, like this is deep. This is some deep shit. And like you're working with clients all the time. You're helping them like with their purpose. And yeah, what made you want to get into this? What happened?
Yeah, so I kind of avoided this for a really long time. We have a lot of um spiritual stuff on my side of the family, but it was always very with like fear of like, oh well, like we don't do that. We believe in it, but we don't do it. So I was like, oh, okay, that's scary. We're not doing that. Um, so for most of my life, like I was saying, the whole like being someone that I'm not, really like cramping down on who I am. I was in like corporate world. It was awful. Um, and I having my kids really shifted how I saw my life. Because I was like, what am I doing? Like, why? Why am I putting myself through this? Like, I don't want them to think that this is all life is just like suffering for a paycheck. Um, or just not living in my own purpose and being who I am, to not take away from the fact that sometimes we do need to suffer for a paycheck because we need to be safe, but just kind of living in my authentic self. And I was at a friend's house and they had oracle cards, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, I don't know about this though, because like I've been told this is not cool. And I picked it up and I was like, oh no, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. And I realized like it's not actually scary. Um, and that started things where I'm just like, I need to explore this way more. So that kind of started me on this journey of being like, okay, well, what more is there? I learned that I just thought I didn't channel because it was in my own voice. Um, and then I was like, oh no, that's absolutely channeling. And just knowing things when I spoke, and just becoming more aware again of the things that I already did in my life, and realizing the natural abilities that I have of helping people um, be themselves and believe in themselves. And it's I I started this whole entrepreneurial journey doing what someone told me to do, because of course I'm like, tell me, what should I do? So I was a personal trainer, hilarious. And and I didn't like it because it was very like people not feeling good about themselves. I'm like, there's more to it than this. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And it's so funny. By the end of this, when I was starting to go, no, I think I'm here to do something different, I was literally telling people why they didn't need to work out. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
literally, that's what I was like. I'm like, you don't really need to do this. I'm like, I feel like you're doing this to like take place of something else. And you, so I was like, okay, I can't be doing this. So yeah, so I started doing the spiritual work and reading for people. And like you said, it was just the doing it, right? Getting over what will people think of me, um, doing it for other people, getting the feedback. This is the one time where I'll say external validation when you're doing this work, as long as it's from somebody who is safe and who you know will be like positive for you, the best freaking thing to do, because you start to see that what you've been thinking and feeling is true.
oh, I
Um,
was pretty sure about that actually.
yeah, like
Remind me you're done.
it's really helpful. And so, yes, I started doing that and it became a really big thing. And then as I, kind of expanded and explored things, I realized the very like the niche thing that I do, which isn't niche per se, but it's what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so that's kind of what's taken me on this huge journey of like trying to do it someone else's way, trying to fit into expectations of others, and then shifting that into actually just pausing and paying attention to me and what I was enjoying and the themes that I saw with the people I was reading for. And that's really turned into this where I do channeled medium sessions for healing and returning to yourself and mentorship now, because those are where I feel I have the most impact and where I enjoy it the most. So yeah, it's just been a wild ride, but it's just so cool getting to do the things that I enjoy and getting to, be that positive voice in someone's ear when all they've really experienced is like that critical voice for so long. And it's really great to do that and get to see the change in people. It's so cool. I love it.
Oh, I mean, I totally know what you mean. There's like no word for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you just smile because there's just
Yeah,
no
I
other
love it.
for it. It's just like, it just is. Um, but yeah, I mean, beautiful. Like, there you go, guys. Like, you can see like how non-linear things are,
Absolutely.
like, and how quickly things can also change, with
Yes.
awareness when you allow yourself to, and awareness comes with, acceptance and acknowledgement and things, we can, that's more for another episode, but which by the way, I want to give a quick shout out to my ebook. The Rebel Frequency ebook is available, linked in my bio if you guys are interested. I also have the free ebook. And I'm going to be putting all of Amanda's information in the description if you guys want to follow her on Instagram, or anything like that. Um, but yeah, I wanted to share a quick story about, because you were saying how external validation sometimes from somebody that you trust can be a good thing. It's not that you need it or that you're looking for it. It's just it's helpful, like
Yeah.
if you're sometimes you want that just so that
Yep.
there's nothing innately wrong with it. I don't want to make people feel like you can never get someone shouldn't be telling you how good you're doing. Like, no, no, no. Like, that's okay. But when I first started doing tarot reading, excuse me, and this is before I ever got on TikTok, by the way. Because like I said, I was doing reading like tarot before I ever got on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so when tarot found me, um, then I found my best friend at the time, and she was like my best friend. Like, we eventually lived in together, moved in together, we lived together, all that stuff. Um, and she was what I can honestly say the only friend I've had in my life that I actually genuinely can say was a best friend. And I use that word very lightly because of my experiences with friendships. But basically she was just like someone that actually was like she saw me for me, you know what I mean? And that was very rare for me to find. And we also really connected because she was also the only person I knew that was spiritual. I'm literally seeing a huge hawk fly over me, a huge hawk. By the way, spiritual,
Amazing.
literally her right there because I was just gonna say she passed away 2 years ago. Wow, full body shivers. I love you, Renata, by the way. Shout out to you. I love you. But she was we connected in the way of spirituality because like I was like very much like in it, like, but she was just like kind of like the person that like, let's just say like the person that kind of like looks up to that person. Like she believes in it, but she doesn't
Yeah.
know a lot about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she was that for me. And so like we would text each other, like if I would see 444, I'd text her, and like she'd text me, or like she'll text me like 333. Oh my God, what does this mean? Or like, she was just like very like that.
Mhm.
And I did a reading on her. She was the first person that I ever did a reading on because she was like, no, like try it on me. Like I want to like da da da, right? So she was very supportive of it. And I remember like we were sitting in her backyard at the time. It was dark. There was like a moon. She also had a big obsession with the moon like I do. Like we would do like literal rituals, and she would be like, "Oh my gosh, we should do a ritual for the full moon." I'm like, "All right," but it was like we sat there and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a reading on you, fine. And I did it on her connection. And like I remember like really vividly, I remember telling her like that like he was gonna because at the time her boyfriend was like, or her ex or whatever was like in another state, right? And in the reading, I like shared that he was gonna come back, that he was gonna just show up, and I remember like telling her like I don't know why, but like visually like in my
Yeah,
brain when I
yeah.
part of when I read. It's either music, sometimes it's straight up images. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't. I don't pick how it comes through. It just comes
Yeah.
through rather, But I remember like literally seeing somebody knocking on a door. And I remember I told her, I was like, I like me, like literally talking like that because at the time I wasn't confident. So I'm like,
Right.
I think he's coming back. Like, I think he's coming
Right.
back. Like, yeah. Like, I was like, really like, and she just took it, right? I shit you not. Guys, this was it for me. This was like, oh, oh. She calls me. I'm at work at this point. I'm at corporate company, like we were saying. Hate it.
Yep.
She texts me, calls me. I don't remember. She's like, "Bro, you will guess what happened." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Your reading came true."
Oh my
I was like, "What? What do you like? What do you mean?" Like he called. You? She's like, "No, he knocked on my door."
gosh.
I swear to God, bro. She literally is like, "No, like he came to my house and knocked on my door," and I was like, I was literally in so much shock.
It's
I was
cool.
like hesitant to even pick the cards up again. I was like scared. I was like the way I am now. Like I was just like, what?
Right.
And she was like in denial. She was like, what? Like, oh my God, Damaris, like, do another one. Like all this. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm gonna try to go on TikTok. I need
That's
to
really
use
cool.
it. I need to do this for more people. I can like all this and that. And holy shit. I mean, I just wanted to share that quick
That's so
story. Like,
cool.
but it took her.
Yeah.
She.
Sometimes we need that, right? Like that proof really of like that. Yeah. It's really cool. I agree. And that's amazing.
Thank you. And I mean, like, so grateful for her. I mean, I really do believe that part of my soul path was like, she was a crucial part of it. Because when I tell you, like, the time that we had together was very important part of my experiences and like
Mhm.
my growth and like, from her passing away and how that affected me. Like, just I mean, I'm that's something that I want to talk about in the near future in my podcast because I still haven't introduced her yet. Because
Mhm.
this is actually the first time that I felt a little more comfortable talking about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like technically 2 years is still kind of fresh for me,
It is.
and it only happened a month after my dog passed away. So it all happened it was a lot. And it's how it happened and what she meant to me. It's just so much deeper. Like she wasn't just a friend.
Yeah.
Like she was a soul sister.
I
She
was
was
gonna say,
someone,
yeah, it's a big soul connection.
yeah, she was someone that like I don't know, man. Like she just we knew each other in another lifetime. You know what I mean? And she came here to help me in a way. I don't know because she she left us, she already left us. And I also feel like that happened for a reason. And again, that there's so much that I have to share about me and her. So we're gonna leave that for another
I was gonna
episode.
say that sounds like it's gonna be a great episode.
But if you guys are let me know in the comments, like please let me know in the comments if that's something that you guys wanna learn about, or if you want me to share more about my experience with my friend, because like we have some crazy things. But yeah, and to finalize it and finish it off because I don't even know what time it is now. I don't know how long we've been going at it. I am so sorry. If someone, listening feels like they're behind in life right now, you know,
Mhm.
especially when it comes down to their soul purpose, with the feeling
Mhm.
late, feeling like they don't know what it is, feeling like they need to figure it
Yeah.
out or chase it. What would you want them to know? What do we want them to hear right now?
I would always say that they're exactly where they're meant to be right now. Like you're on track. There isn't really even a track. There's just you being you and coming home to you and knowing that you're already doing all of these things. You're just not aware of it yet. And that's okay. And that this is just this beautiful experience of living life and remembering. And it's not a coincidence that it's happening at this time or that you're feeling this way now, because and it's because of the work that you've done. It's because you want to do more, to be more. And I would say you already are that. And
Yeah.
it's time to see that. It's time to peel back those layers that tell you that you're not. um because yeah, you are incredible, and you're living in that purpose, and you are doing really good things in this world. um and when you become aware of that, when you see it, when you believe it too, that impact is only going to increase. You're only going to do more good things, and live this beautiful life that you deserve to live.
A
That's what I
thousand,
would say.
a thousand percent. I mean, beautifully said. And, the only thing I could really add to that is, you're gonna be in, a lot of you might have been in situations growing up where you, your parents told you that they knew better, right? That they know better than what's best
Mm-hmm.
for you, than you, right? There, two things can be true at once. Whether they know you really well because they raised you is one thing, and it could be true, but there's another truth to that is that they don't know what your soul's desires are. They don't know
Yeah.
your soul, right? Only that's something that only you will understand. Only it's something that you feel and see for yourself, right? Personality characteristics, how you react, that's a different story. That is just that's something that they know because it's your parents, right?
Right.
But as you get older, your wants and needs change, you evolve, you grow, things happen to you, you shut yourself out, you open yourself up, whatever it may be. For everyone's different. And so that's why it's so important to, at the end of the day, and like I'm a living example of that. My parents can tell you like that I was their biggest struggle with me was that is that I and that's where the Rebel Priestess podcast comes from, is that they would say yes, I would say no. They would say no, I would say yes. And it wasn't because I did it out of spite. It was because at a very young age, I knew I would always know best for me. And it wasn't in a way where like they told me don't cross make sure you look both ways across the street. No, like it was in the sense of like, for example, if I wanted to get a job and I wanted to quit and get another one, my mom would be like, it doesn't look good for you to always change your job. I'd be like, I don't care. I'm gonna go get another job because my soul is telling me if you're not happy here, I'm gonna go somewhere where I feel better.
Yeah.
And if that looks bad to you, I don't really give up. So, respectfully, mom, and so at a young age, that's how I always was, and it just got stronger as I got older. Like that, like, no, like, and so you really, it's like that deep believing yourself, like, being able to trust your own inner voice and your desire, right? um and so sometimes you're gonna have to disappoint your parents. But guess what? I might have disappointed my parents when I was younger by going against what they said. But guess what? Right now, today, if you ask them, they're so fucking proud of me. And it's not because I'm a millionaire. It's because I'm not. It's not because I have a mansion, because I don't have one. It's not because I have all the things, because I don't. It's because of my heart and because of the way they know the woman that I've grown into, my heart, the way I care for people, the way I show
Yeah.
up for people. It's not in my material, it's not the surface level, it's in the internal. It's they can literally feel who I've become, and it affects them every time I'm around them, and I see how it affects them. Now it's a different connection with my parents because they
Right.
see me as someone that, what, she might have said, she might have gone her own way every time we asked her to go this way, but look at her, she knew what she was doing. We allowed her to trust herself. They gave me the space to, what? My dad, by the way, did this. He trusted me a lot. He gave me the liberty to be like, what? She's old enough to make her own choices. We're gonna trust her, right?
Yeah.
That's where it comes down to. And so sometimes you gotta like let it be known. You gotta set those boundaries. If somebody doesn't give you the choice to trust yourself, you gotta set those boundaries and be like, no, like
Yeah.
I am gonna do what I feel is best for me right now. And if
Right.
what you say, my body contracts, my body is like, then it's a no. It's a
Right.
dub. And I'm like that with everything. Somebody asked me to go out and the same night I feel completely off. Hey, I'm sorry. So I'll be respectful. I acknowledge it and like,
Yeah.
but I honor me first, right? And it's not being selfish. And a lot of people mistaken selfishness with like taking with honoring yourself, and it's
Yeah.
they're very different things. And again, that's a different topic for a different episode, but because that's a whole different the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, believing in yourself is how you become is you can fully become yourself, and
Yeah.
essentially, like you were saying, it just gets better from there. So, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think that was like a
I think
beautiful ending.
that's great. Oh, I was kidding. Let me see. I don't know what that was. So
No,
silly.
that was the beautiful ending.
Oh my God, my loves. If you're still here listening, let me tell you something. I love you so much. Okay, let me know in the comments. Whether you're on Spotify or Apple, let me know how this hit. Again, if something in this conversation stayed with you, it really hit you, it made you feel seen or heard, whether it was a phrase, a feeling, a quiet knowing, whatever it is, I want you to trust that, okay? I want you to trust that. Maybe let me know in the comments what that thing was. I would love to know what it was. Um, but again, soul purpose doesn't always arrive with clarity. And it doesn't always arrive when you want it to. Sometimes it arrives as resonance, as resonance. So I want to thank Amanda once again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for this conversation, for your wisdom, for the way that you grounded us, and you really grounded soul purpose back into, live truth and what it really is. And you really helped me break it down perfectly, like beautifully. Like, I don't know if we could have done this better. I don't know. You guys can find all of her work will be linked again in the episode description down below. Like I said, and probably like a couple times already. And if you're listening, if you've been putting your pressure on yourself lately, we talked a lot about that. Um, you don't have to do that any longer. Okay? We give you permission. You give yourself permission. That's important. So I really hope that this episode reminded you how fucking worthy you are, how abundant you already are. And I also hope that it reminded you that life isn't linear. It's never going to be linear. And that purpose isn't something that you earn, okay? Just like stability, okay? It's not something that you earn. It's something that quite simply unfolds, okay? It unfolds and sorry, my dog just jumped. I forgot she was there. I'm like, what just happened? I'm sorry. It unfolds as you come back into a relationship with yourself. So the more you come back to you, the more you remember who you are, the more your purpose unfolds.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to continue this work, if you guys want to work with either one of us deeper, I have my one-on-one sessions. You already know my ebooks over there. But if you would also like to work with Amanda, please, please, please connect with her. And I'll leave my TikTok, all that shenanigans down below as well. But thank you guys so much for choosing depth over distraction, because you know how easy it is to fall into distraction. So please, thank you so much
Mhm.
for choosing that and for choosing trust over urgency. Like I feel like a lot of people want the quick answers and the quick things, and this is the truth, and yeah, truth over fear, faith over fear, you already know. So thank you so much, guys, until next time, and please remember, you're not behind, right, Amanda?
No, you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Exactly where you're meant to be. You are becoming. All right, I love you guys so much. Please don't forget